Governance also becomes a lot easier with the Agile Cloud Manager. Governance at an enterprise level becomes attainable not only in organizations that resist governance, but also in organizations that might not be large enough yet to more easily implement governance. We find that all the benefits of governance can become available because the Agile Cloud Manager makes it so much easier to implement governance. Here in this video, we'll look at two levels of governance. First level we'll look at is platform as code governance, and the second we'll look at is application level governance. So let's start with the platform engineering teams. You might have several different platform engineering teams in your organization if you're a large company. That means you've got different types of platform as code, and each one of these types of platform as code might be a grouping for several different types of projects. You also are going to have repositories that need to be connected to the projects. And what these repositories are going to do is enable the work produced by these platform as code project types to actually end up in your environments. And you're able to centralize these using the Agile Cloud Manager because the Agile Cloud Manager promotes reusability, and reusability requires an enterprise level view of how everything fits together. You're going to have different types of projects, and the types of projects are going to reflect the different levels. For example, the first level we've shown you in several of the prior videos is the pipeline level. You create pipelines to perform operations on different systems and on appliances as a whole. The pipelines have projects associated with them, and the code from the projects can be stored in repositories. The layer in the architecture just below the pipeline is the appliance definition itself. The appliance definition is essentially a list of system templates that are going to be used by a particular run of the Agile Cloud Manager when an appliance is operated upon. And those appliances are referencing system templates, and those system templates can be in their own projects because each system template might be reused by several different appliances in your organization. So you have system template projects that have system template repositories associated with them. And then you've got these building block projects that are associated with building block repositories. And in a sense, these are things you already have. But when you use the Agile Cloud Manager to reorganize and reorchestrate your existing templates, you'll find that you're able to promote reusability so that you're able to do the same things with a smaller number of templates than you currently have. Governance of platform as code is applied to these project types and to these repositories, so that your governance program can have rules associated with it that regulate what can be done in terms of the requirements defined that are fed into these projects, and in terms of the definition of done that enables anything completed in these projects that ends up in these repositories to be regulated before it actually goes out into production. Similarly, we've got application level governance. And in your organization, you might have a number of different application engineering teams, depending on the size of your organization. Each one of these application engineering teams might interact with projects associated with its application. Those projects are going to have the code that those teams work with stored in repositories that are linked with those projects. And your application governance, of course, focuses on the requirements for those projects and the definitions of done for those projects as they relate to what is allowed to progress through the different levels of the repositories before code can actually make it into production. Here we see how we proceed from platform as code and from application code into pipelines. With this governance program, we can see that anything that is changed in any of these repositories needs to pass a particular definition of done matched to a particular requirement before it's allowed to proceed into pipelines that progress beyond a certain environment. These pipelines then invoke the Agile Cloud Manager, which runs in a compute instance that executes the pipeline if you're not a technical person. Or if you are a technical person, it's called an agent. An agent is a compute instance that implements a pipeline, and the Agile Cloud Manager runs in the agent and enables orchestration at a much, much more effective and simple way. So the Agile Cloud Manager enables the pipelines to much more efficiently implement changes out in your enterprise platform to serve users. For example, you might implement changes in your integration appliance, which may interact with your public and customer websites and mobile apps that are together bundled into an appliance, which reach out to individual customers. You may also make changes to a sales appliance, which interacts with sales employees. Changes to the marketing appliance are going to change how the marketing employees interact with your systems. Changes to the support appliance affect how your customer support or customer service employees interact with your systems. Changes to your operations appliance affect how your operations employees interact with your organization. Changes to your finance appliance affect how your finance employees interact with your enterprise. And changes to your human resources appliance affect how your human resource employees interact with your enterprise systems. And all together now you have on one slide here, on one image, a very easy and effective way to regulate every layer of code that is developed in your organization in a governance process that enables your organization to streamline the requirements and to reduce the amount of redundant engineering work so that you have a much leaner and much more effective enterprise that's able to produce the same amount of work for less money, and that means the same amount of money can produce more work, a more productive engineering organization, which is therefore able to support client and customer evolution much more effectively so that your organization can become more agile and can grow using the same money. You can download the Agile Cloud Manager for free at agilecloudinstitute.io. And you can hire the Agile Cloud Institute to perform technical support, training, and consulting. You can get more information and you can contact us through agilecloudinstitute.io.